He pretended to drop something on the ground, attract the attention of a boy. The man is wearing sunglasses, with thick foundation makeup on his face, falsely claiming to be a magician. The boy suddenly realized something was wrong. Why are there so many black balloons in the carriage? Next second, the man opened the carriage. Under the cover of a large string of black balloons, the boy was dragged onto the car by him. During the process, the boy also sprayed anesthesia on his mouth, and the brief life of a child, and it will completely come to an end. Night. Xiaobai was awakened by a burst of phone calls, just about to pick up the man wearing a mask and walked in. He said, "The phone is useless. It broke down when I was a child. And the basement has undergone sound insulation treatment. No matter how you call it, no one can hear. There is an air window, and a small light on the wall, limited height. Even if you jump up you can't reach it. I tried several times and ended in failure. Xiaobai wants to move the mattress, but because they are all fixed, so this move doesn't work either." Just as Xiaobai was about to ruin it, the phone is ringing again. After answering, there was no sound inside. Late at night, Xiaobai was awakened by the phone again. Someone is finally speaking this time. The other party quickly shouted out Xiaobai's name. Perhaps it was a shock. Xiaobai subconsciously hung up the phone. He quickly called again. After hesitating for a few seconds, Xiaobai still picked up the phone. He wants to know who the other party is, but the boy across from me said he forgot his name. But he remembers meeting Xiaobai once, and praised him for pitching well. Based on these clues, Xiaobai thinks of someone. That's right, it's the missing Yamada. I learned from Yamada-ko that there is a loose brick on the corridor. He dug it down below. The first regret is that there is not enough time. Didn't wait for him to dig successfully. Was brutally killed by the masked man. If Xiaobai continues to dig, perhaps there is still a glimmer of hope. So he started his unfinished career for 3 years. The excavated soil is being thrown into the toilet. Flush away. Everything is imperceptible to the gods and ghosts. But he's alone. Obviously, the progress is still too slow. The next day, masked man brings breakfast to Xiaobai. When I left, the door was actually unlocked. This gives Xiaobai hope. Just as he was about to leave, the phone is ringing. The boy who called was a hit during his lifetime. Also the first person to disappear. He reminded Xiaobai, never open that door. Strangely, that boy is actually right behind Fanny. This is a woman. Until August the 10th. Listen to the newsboy's warning. Xiaobai gave up the idea of going out. Subsequently, the riot provided Xiaobai with a way to escape. He secretly hid a cable in a crack in the wall. Maybe we can use him to climb up the window. However, reality is always too cruel. After some operation, the window cannot withstand the weight of small white. The whole thing fell down. Escape operation failed again. In the dark chamber of secrecy, a disconnected phone can receive calls from hell. The boy who was previously killed by the maskman appeared one after another. Help operation escape from ascension. The first boy asked him to dig the underground cabinet. The second boy gave him a rope. But it all ended in failure. Now the third boy's phone is coming in. There is a freezer behind the wall. Maybe we can escape from inside. There is a vent in the toilet. Open the wall 2 feet above it. There's a storage room on the other side of my mind. There is also a vertical freezer in the middle. Open the board with 2 screws connected. But the plan cannot keep up with the changes, despite successfully entering the freezer. But the cabinet door can't be kicked open. The disappointment after hope is the most hopeless. Xiaobai mentality has completely collapsed. To save my brother. Gwen risked being beaten and told his father. He had another dream. After all, the missing one is my own son. Father is not so irritable this time, just disheartened to tell Gwen everything he dreams of is fake. The reason for being strict. I don't want Gwen to follow his mother's footsteps. But when my father learned that Gwen's dream might save Xiaobai, he still chose to believe that the two of them drove outside to find clues. I didn't expect they actually found the suspicious house. The police rushed over to investigate, discovered that the person opening the door was a drug addict. Coincidentally, addicts are also very interested in serial disappearance cases. Didn't wait for the police to speak up. He just talked eloquently. Don't say his analysis is quite reasonable. I learned from Max that this is my brother's house. He just came over a few days ago. With the help of confirming that Max has not met Xiaobai, the police just left. Max never dreamed of it. At this moment, there is only a wall between Xiaobai and him. Obviously Max's brother is wearing a masked man. This day, the masked man once again sent food to Xiaobai, then patiently wait upstairs until I fall asleep. Xiaobai didn't take the bait either. See here, many people may not understand. It's easy for a masked man to kill someone. Why are you so passive? Actually, for masked men, killing is not an end in itself. He wants the victim to slowly follow a predetermined ritual. Failure to achieve success in one stage cannot proceed to the next step. Midnight. Xiaobai heard the tick, a ticking sound. Take a closer look. There is a boy hanging in the corner. He's another victim. It was cut to death by a masked man's throat. According to the boy's prompts, Xiaobai picked up the food again and gave it to him. Otherwise, you can't do it, don't lose it. You shut up, don't say anything. Why do you want the right? When I received his position as commander, after receiving the password, Xiaobai carefully unlocks the lock. Success is imminent. This makes the fierce dogs in the masked man's house bark incessantly. Xiaobai quickly escaped from the house, but the masked man still drove after him. Last, Xiaobai is controlled by the other party. The neighbors around originally heard cries for help. Turn on the lights one after another. The masked man put the knife on Xiaobai's neck, threatened him not to make any noise. Restore calm outside. The neighbors immediately turned off the lights. Xiaobai knows that this house will definitely not run away. With this failed escape, the masked man lost his patience. I plan to kill Xiaobai tomorrow. My sister is braved by heavy rain, searching for a house in a dream. 5 boys covered in blood appeared in front of him. When he got up, all 5 people have disappeared. Just last night, he had a strange dream. In front of the red brick house stands a strange man wearing a mask, holding a bundle of black balloons in his hand. The withered tree next to it looks like a demon's paw, extending all the way into the house. I saw the house's number 774 Yao clearly, and at this moment, the red brick house, dead tree 77411, it's exactly the same as in the dream. And his missing brother is locked up here. At night, Xiaobai's best friend Robin called. Robin asked Xiaobai not to be afraid. This is still. Robin encourages Xiaobai, I'll get out of here. Above this one, Xiaobai decides to give it a try. Naked fists are definitely not enough. Robin asked him to fill the phone with mud, and compact the soil, give him weight, armed with weapons. Robin taught Little White again and again whether he could succeed in fighting skills. Next is all up to Xiaobai. This is the last of. Making clothes is beautiful. At the same time, Gwen is very clever in finding room 74 and 1. He didn't rush in, but rather go home and report to the police. Meanwhile, the masked man is already buying tools for handling corpses. Max looked at the inferred map, a sudden realization. All the crime locations are very close to one place. Brother's house takes advantage of his absence. Max found the basement. The moment I saw Xiaobai, he was completely shocked. Just when Xiaobai thought he was saved, an unexpected scene appeared. Here comes the masked man, without saying a word. Clothes make my younger brother's head explode. Afterwards, he even threw the pot onto Little White's head. Blame him for killing Mike. In order to torture Xiaobai mask well, the man brought the evil dog over. Fortunately, Xiaobai is ready. He led the masked man to the previously dug tunnel and pulled off the pre-arranged cable mask. Male tripped. Half of my body sank into the tunnel. Afterwards, Xiaobai kept hitting the masked man with the microphone. Xiaobai hand caught by the opponent. In a state of panic, he pulled off the mask of Olu's accomplice, and that's exactly where his weakness lies. The masked man quickly covered his face with his hands. Xiaobai seizes the opportunity, wrap a cable around his neck. As an excellent pitcher, the strength of Xiaobai's hands is amazing. Just then, the phone rings. It was the collective call from the undead, and Xiaobai handed the phone to the masked man's ear. The last moment of life. The masked man heard a message from hell. Afterwards, Xiaobai took a piece of meat. After diverting the blessings of the evil dog, smooth exit of the room. When Gwen saw his brother, the first reaction was a bit unbelievable. After confirmation, brother and sister hugged tightly. On the police side, they found the bodies of the missing teenagers in the room. The serial disappearance case was successfully resolved. The background of someone on the opposite side. The original film was not explained. I got some clues from the original work. Masked people can hear ringtone when they are young, possibly psychic. But his father believes it's a mental disorder, beating the child's mask multiple times in the basement. People believe that everything is an illusion, so disconnect the phone line. His mischievous child's game is a scene of being brutally beaten by his father in his childhood.